It seems for as long as being an influencer has been a thing, there's always like one person, at least one person, who wants to pop up and make it their life's mission to be the most annoying person on the internet. Following in the footsteps of people like Keemstar, the Paul brothers, and more recently the Andrew Tates of the world, there's some people who have just decided that they want to be famous online, and their way of going about that is to just provide shock value and to be hated, I guess. It seems where it used to be like one a year, now it's like one every 3 months. So much so that I can like barely keep up anymore. I was recently made aware of Jack Doherty, who has 12.9 million subscribers here on YouTube. And I would describe his content as sort of like rage bait vlogs, I guess is the best way to put it.
What? Little prompt, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Yeah. Yeah.
You can tell this is content made exclusively to get people annoyed and talking about it because of it's annoying and not because it's like has any real entertainment value or anything like that. So Jack Doherty is a 20-year-old from Long Island, New York, and like a lot of creators his age, and it's probably something we're going to see a lot more of going forward, he started his content creation journey when he was really young. Like in 2016, a then 13-year-old Jack was already uploading fairly regularly to his YouTube channel. Now it's obvious he was just sort of copying like bigger creators that he found entertaining, which is like a normal thing that most people do when they're first starting out creating content. And over time, I would say Jack became pretty obsessed, like not in a bad way, but obsessed with the way YouTube works and how to grow and just like making it big on YouTube.
Alright guys, I'm here with Jason, and basically I thought we should do a video where we let you guys know how to get famous on YouTube or pretty much any social media.
Like he was keeping up with all the trends, making videos in them, and just sort of latching on to every new trend that would pop up. And for the most part, this worked for him. He just sort of kept growing and growing and growing kind of quickly for a younger kid creating on the platform. Basically within a year of Jack like starting to upload semi-regularly, he had already hit 100,000 subscribers.
Alright, so I'm about to hit 100k subs, which is like absolutely amazing.
And with this massive jump in his popularity came massive changes in the type of content he was creating. Like I feel like most of the videos I make on this channel come back to like stop putting kids on the internet. It's a bad idea. Like being an influencer when you're a child is just awful for your development, because like every single influencer who blew up when they were a literal child, like 12 years old, just seems to have no concept of how the world works outside of their camera. So they think just because they have a camera, you know, laws and consequences just don't really apply to them. So at this point, long gone are the days of Jack doing backflips on his trampoline and, you know, bottle flips with his friends for $5 or whatever. Now he's graduated to being like a public nuisance. That's his new content. For a really long time, just going into stores and restaurants and harassing people who make like $7 an hour was peak YouTube content. This is what the biggest creators on the platform were doing, and it sucked back then too, let's just be honest. This era of Jack Doherty was just him being, I guess he was in his bad boy era. You remember when Jake Paul was like being an awful person to his neighbors in the Team 10 house, and like all his content was just him disrupting the peace of like random people who just had regular jobs and stuff. That became a real big trend, and of course Jack hopped on that trend, and he would just go into stores and just bother people. He even tried to sneak into Rice Gum's house and Jake Paul's Team 10 house.
Rice Gum, that's Rice Gum! That's Rice Gum! Here look guys, that's where Rice Gum filmed part of his music video.
So like bringing the prank to them, I guess, which if you're gonna prank someone, like if you're gonna do this, at least leave like the regular people alone and bother other YouTubers. I guess I could say that's one positive. Like looking back at the videos that he was uploading at this time, it seems pretty obvious that people like Jake Paul and Rice Gum were his biggest inspirations as a creator, which is a scary thought. So much so that he even hopped on the diss track phenomenon that was a thing for like a summer on YouTube.
Money and the fame was all that we dreamed. Now you're waking up and that's all we see, yup.
Which, looking back, there was just no winners in that whole situation. Like everyone came out a loser. So we're starting to notice like a trend with Jack here. As things start to blow up, he kind of latches onto them and just sort of rides the wave, and then the next thing comes and the next thing comes. He's very good at keeping up with the trends of YouTube and just knowing how to put his stamp on that and ride the wave to a little bit of clout every time a new trend pops up. For instance, the prank thing worked so well for him that he was getting recognition from his idols at this point. He even ended up getting interviewed by Logan at Jake's wedding, which which I'm sure was like a highlight for him. So what he would have naturally taken away from this is the more pranks he filmed, the more annoying he was, the more views he got, the more popularity he got, and so on and so forth. And you kind of see where this cycle leads to for pretty much everyone. Like, all influencers are the same, basically. You're just driven by that desire to be more and more popular and to get more and more views. And honestly, it kind of makes sense, right? If your livelihood depended on you getting the most eyeballs on something, would you try to make something that's good and artful, or would you just try to be as shocking as possible? If you're walking down the street and there's like a car crash on one side and there's this cool like art piece on the other side, most people are going to stop and look at the car crash because it's just more shocking. I don't know what the phenomena that makes us like that is, but whatever it is, like, put it up to 1,000, and that's what influencers do by just trying to be as shocking and crude as possible in order to gain views. So yeah, Jack was in his public nuisance era, and basically no like service worker within a 100-mile radius was safe from his wrath. He was just going into stores. The mall was like his frequent thing, where he would just go in and bother people and film it and get a reaction out of people. And it got so bad to the point where his parents and family finally decided to step in, and like any respectable, you know, responsible, concerned parent who has a son who's trying to bother people for clicks on the internet, they decided to do the only thing you could do naturally in this situation: take him on Dr. Phil. I don't know why this became a thing in like the 2010s, but parents of like attention-seeking brats decided that the only way to help them was to put them on national TV, because that'll show them, right? Pretty much exactly like Danielle Bergoli before him. All Jack's episode of Dr. Phil did was introduce him to an even wider audience, and coming out of that, like, everything just got turned up to 11 for him. Like, more pranks, more clickbait, and where he used to take inspiration from creators, now he was just copying them outright, like word for word, bar for bar, to the point where he was just redoing videos from people like Mr. Beast, Ryan Trahan, and others like that. Throughout his career, which is actually quite long at this point, we're like 10 years in, Jack has done whatever it takes to remain relevant. Like, his main goal is to just keep people watching him on the internet. But around this time, Jack's views started to decline kind of drastically. Things went from hovering around 1 million every video for him to down to some of them weren't even cracking 100,000. Like, this could be for many different reasons. It could just be because his cycle as an influencer was coming up. It's sort of a fickle industry, and he hadn't really done anything to separate himself from other creators. And so, like, why watch Jack Doherty when you can just watch the person whose video he's copying, who, you know, did it better and more original? But according to Jack, though, this happened because his channel was hacked and he got a copyright strike from the hacker, and because of that he wasn't able to upload. And so because he couldn't upload for a week, I guess everyone in that week just forgot about him and never came back to watch his channel, which makes sense actually. So at this point we're around 2021 and Jack's channel is in essence dying. Like, he can barely crack 100,000 views, which is still a lot, but for someone who was, you know, hovering around 1 million like a year and a half ago, that's not great. So like every other washed up content creator in 2021, Jack decided to take his talents to TikTok.
I love long slippery snakes. So today we're gonna see how many licks it takes to make this one finish. I started licking and it tasted so good.
So for the next year or so, he would be on TikTok just sort of milking that algorithm, trying to get anything else he could out of it. And he also added a new arrow to his clickbait quiver: hot girls. Despite looking like he's 9 years old, Jack started to manage OnlyFans models in an attempt to get more views for himself and I guess raise the profile of his new clients. All his TikTok videos now just always included like a girl in a bikini or in lingerie, just kind of in the background there, while he did the same sort of videos he was doing on YouTube.
All right, if I make this shot, you guys both gotta give me a kiss.
Okay.
No, it doesn't count.
Let's go. Come here, ladies. Whoa, did they just kiss? Did you guys just kiss?
So of course that didn't last very long, because why would it? And for his next chapter, I'm not sure if it's that streaming on Kick makes you a weirdo loser, or if weirdo losers are just inclined to stream on Kick. But Jack, of course, took his talents to Kick after that. And this is where I sort of started to hear about him more, because once he started streaming on Kick, his proclivity for being the most annoying guy at the function just went up like 1 million times for some reason. The resurgence of Jack Doherty can be summed up in him provoking strangers in public and then hiding behind his security guard while they beat him up. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's like all he does anymore.
Get that shit out of my face.
Get out of my face. Or what? Okay.
It's a really foolproof plan, I guess, if you don't mind being the biggest loser on the internet. The first time I saw him was when a clip of his live stream went viral on Twitter more than anything. There's like a group of influencers, I'm assuming they're all influencers too, at kind of like this influencer party, I guess. And they're arguing, kind of talking. This one dude like steps up to Jack. They start kind of going back and forth. And then his security just comes in and rocks the dude, like levels him. I'm surprised his head didn't like fly off his shoulders. That's how hard this guy got punched.
Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
I'm just saying, walk.
Chill. No. You all said walk.
Who are you talking to, dog?
I'm just saying, y'all said just walk. Then walk.
Who the fuck you talking to?
Oh, no, you don't. Stop.
What's wrong with you?
I'm not exactly sure who this type of content is for, but if you do watch this and enjoy it, I just want to know, like, why? And then anytime Jack is confronted about doing stuff like this, he just calls people poor, which is like a great look. You know you're in the right when someone talks about something you've done, and instead of defending it in any way, shape, or form, you just be like, well, guess what? You're poor, and I'm not. What now? So Jack Doherty is one of many problematic Kick IRL streamers. The IRL streaming community on Kick is one of the most toxic like subgenres the internet has ever seen, honestly. You got people like Jack, Sam Pepper, who I'm pretty sure should be in prison. I don't know. This kid Neon, who's getting big now, and Fusi, who's back for like his 7th try at being famous again.
This guy's fucking beta as fuck. God damn it. Beta said, hey. Yo, you're a bitch. You're a little bitch.
I'm beta.
Imagine being 33 years old and yo, get me some water bottles, Sean. Give me some fucking.
You're lucky I made friends with your security.
Hey,
We're
now
not
we
back. Dog shit.
Hey, now we can't box. There's a whole.
You talk like a bitch too.
Slap the dog shit out of you.
That pressure of just like having to always be on and performing for an audience, it just can't be healthy, man. And more or less, it just leads to awful decision making because there's just no one who's entertaining for 18 hours at a time. So yeah, you're gonna have to like fake stuff in order to keep people watching, because it's like the car wreck analogy again. The more outlandish something is, the more people are gonna want to watch it. So these dudes are just like always fighting people, trying to one up each other, go over the top so they can get the views, but it just can't be worth it. I don't know. Like personally for me, it seems like the juice isn't really worth the squeeze. Being on and live all the time just so the majority of people can hate you because you have to pretend to be controversial in order to get people to watch you. Like what's fun about that? What's entertaining about that? I'm sure the money is nice. I'm sure Jack being able to run up $250,000 on his Amex feels great, but is it worth it? It just doesn't seem like it is to me. Like just being reckless for no reason. And I get that if you gave like any 20-year-old $1 million in influence and access, probably most of them would act like this. I probably would have acted like this, which is just another reason to like not be making irresponsible 20-year-olds quadrillionaires with like no real oversight over anything that they do. Like, I don't know, maybe let's stop letting kids have unlimited access to the internet. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got on the situation. That kind of leads up to present day. Maybe, you know, stop letting your kids have unsupervised access to the internet because they might grow up to be a douchey influencer. Is that a risk you're willing to take? But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It really helps out. If you have any other thoughts or suggestions, make sure to leave me a comment down below. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I promise I might actually start uploading regularly again. Who knows? And most importantly, have an amazing rest of your day. Okay, bye.
Money and the fame was all that we dreamed. Now you're waking up and that's all we see. Yup, used to be average, kinda like the letter C. Now we pulling up with bands and Yeezys. Told you, people take pictures cause I'm a lot bigger. Girls start to notice me, I call them gold diggers. Bye.